They are two of the fastest rising stars in the sport of fitness. In just her second trip to the games last year, Carrie Pierce won 2 events and finished 5th overall. Christy Aroe is following in Pierce's footsteps. Aroe was the top rookie at the games in 2016 with an 8th place finish. No American woman has won the CrossFit Games since 2010, and there hasn't been one on the podium in 2 years. 2 women who can change that take center stage tonight. Pierce versus Aroe from Columbus, Ohio. The second test in the 2017 Reebok CrossFit Games Open is next.
Hello, welcome everyone to our live 17.2 studio pre-show presented by Ramwad. I'm your host, Tommy Marquez, alongside Pat Sherwood. And Pat, the Open came up quick, but it really felt like week number 1 maybe dragged on a little bit.
Yeah, the off season seems to get shorter and shorter. We won 17.1. It's here. 17.1 overextended its welcome a little bit, but now it's gone. I want to know, you want to know, the community is ready. What is 17.2?
Absolutely. A lot of stuff going on, but here's how you guys can watch at home. Tons of ways to tune in. You can go to the CrossFit Games website, games.crossfit.com. You can head over to the CrossFit Games Facebook page. We'll have a live stream there. Or the CrossFit YouTube channel. That'll take you through our entire main broadcast up through the Cooldown show. And afterwards, head on over to the CrossFit Games Facebook page for some exclusive coverage of Roe versus Boz. But up first, in the main broadcast, we've got 2 very talented women in Carrie Pierce and Christy Aroe going head-to-head in 17.2. And here's how they stack up side by side based off of last year's performance. Just 4 spots separating them in the Open worldwide. 4th and 5th at their respective regionals. 5th place at the games for Carrie Pierce, 8th for Aroe, and then identical top 10 finishes at the games with 6 apiece. And here's a live look into Rogue HQ over in Columbus, Ohio. Preparations are underway, Pat, and I know Christy Aroe is an athlete that kind of snuck up on you last year.
Aroe is a tricky one. I mean, she did very, very well in the Open, 21st worldwide, shows up to regionals, and we're still not paying too much attention to her because even at the end of regionals, she took the 5th spot. So I hate to say it, but quote-unquote, squeaked into the games, so we're not looking a lot at her there. And then she kept just lingering outside the top few, but her consistency was incredible. She was almost invisible. We know who she is now because she took 8th. I spoke with her on the phone today, and she said she still almost feels invisible. If she walked into a room, nobody would know who she is, but she's going to walk into a room tonight, and people are going to know who she is afterwards.
Well, the woman that's going to be tasked with taking on Aroe tonight, the 5th fittest woman in the planet in 2016, that's Carrie Pierce. She's had a fast but very expected rise in the sport of fitness.
Carrie Pierce is a quick learner. After just 8 months of CrossFit, she found herself at the Games in 2015. Pierce finished 21st in her first CrossFit Games appearance.
Yeah, like everyone made this big deal that, oh, she's only been doing CrossFit for like 8 months, but I mean, I've been doing gymnastics and other sorts of working out for my entire life.
She went from good to elite in just a year. In 2016, she vaulted all the way up to 5th.
Carrie Pierce is going to smash Camille LeBlanc-Bazinet's time, and she is your new event leader.
Pierce is hoping her next leap puts her on the podium at the Games.
I believe I have what it takes to be on the podium just because I put in the hard work every day, and I think it's going to pay off.
Carrie Pierce will get her first career event win at the CrossFit Games.
It only took Pierce 8 months of CrossFit to get to the Games. It may only take 6 more before she's wearing a medal around her neck.
My goal for 2017 is to be on the podium.
Now, Carrie Pierce made some tremendous improvements in just her second year at the Games. Pat, what can we expect from her in 2017?
Well, I mean, she said it better than I could. She wants to get onto the podium, but she didn't leave herself a lot of upward mobility. When you take 5th, there's only 4 more spots to rise to, but she can do it. Let's get this out of the way first. She was a gymnast for 18 years, Division I level at the University of Michigan. If you know any gymnasts, they're absolutely crazy. And she is just like that, a fierce competitor, incredibly disciplined. So how much success she's had so quickly, it makes sense. First place on the separator, first place on Murph, a smattering of other top 3 finishes. just an exceptional athlete, and with that discipline that she's been used to training with her entire life, she's putting that towards what she's not good at, which is not a whole lot of stuff. I think 2017 looks very, very bright for Pierce.
Speaking of mobility or upward mobility, our Week 2
boy.
sponsor is ROMWAD. And I know you're a seasoned vet in this community, so the warm-up in particular has taken a very special place for you and your regimen.
I think seasoned vet is your nice way to say old. Amongst my friends, I'm not known for being the most bendy guy out there, but, you know, luckily, Daniel from ROMWAD, he was in town, and he took me through a little routine to kind of help correct that a little bit. I benefited from it, and maybe you can as well. Hey everybody, Pat here with Daniel from ROMWAD. You may recognize his voice as the voice behind ROMWAD, and he's going to give me and you some tips for the lower body and upper body to get us warmed up for either the workout of the day, the open, whatever you happen to be doing. So what have we got?
All right, Pat, we're going to start with our lower body first. So let's come to the hands and the knees.
All right.
And I'm going to have you step your right foot forward in between your hands, and I want you to lengthen your left leg as far back as you can, and now attempt to bring your forearms on the floor on the inside of your right foot.
Okay.
So this is our lizard position.
Ooh.
Now, how's that feeling?
That's literally it.
That's it?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is not uncommon. There's a little restriction, so we can use either a block, but I think, actually, for him, I'm going to use the medicine ball. Okay, so I'm going to use the medicine ball to help prop up his body. The thing is, when we're doing these positions, we want to stay passive. By staying passive, we're actually targeting not only the muscles, but as well as the ligaments and the tendons, the connective tissue. So our next position starts from hands and knees again.
Okay.
And this one's called the puppy dog. So I'm going to slide the arms way out in front of you. So go ahead and reach those arms.
Innocent?
Yeah, for the most part, looks pretty simple, but what you're starting to realize, it's not that simple. This can be a little challenging, right? Where do I want to feel this one? Well, this one's going to be all in the upper back, as well as all through the armpits and through his torso. So you want to feel that first. How's that feel?
I definitely feel very tight.
Very tight
Very
for this
tight.
one. And again, this is normal. Although it's a little bit challenging, so we could even put a block under the head. And again, what we're doing is helping him relax even more. If his head's hanging, it can be a little bit uncomfortable. So don't be afraid to use props, medicine balls, blocks, blankets, whatever you got, ab mats, all that stuff's fine.
And that was my very first toe in the water with any of that, and I can tell I've got a lot of work ahead of me.
Well, be patient with it. It doesn't happen overnight. So it takes time. It takes weeks, months, but you'll feel the difference pretty much from the first time you try this.
All right, well, I need it.
All right, excellent.
If you are like Pat Sherwood and could use some extra stretching, you are in luck. ROMWAD has a special running now through the end of March. Visit romwad.com/theopen. Register and get 1 week free of their daily programming. Pat, I have to say, I took some enjoyment watching you struggle there.
That strain, and luckily they edited out most of the moans. Those were genuine. Those were real. The CrossFit community always shows you something you still need to work on, and that really hit my wheelhouse that I need to spend more time in.
I think it's something we could all spend more time at. But for now, let's send things out to Columbus, Ohio and Rogue Fitness HQ to Sean Woodland and 2009 Games champ, Tanya Wagner.
A good look at Rogue Fitness headquarters earlier today, a brand new 600,000 square foot facility in Columbus, Ohio. Tonight, 2 of the top American female CrossFit athletes take center stage as they will be among the first to face 17.2. Here's Kiki Dixon with the athlete introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, in her rookie season, she took 8th at the 2016 Reebok CrossFit Games, earning her spot here tonight. Give it up for Christy Aroe. Aroe is going up against our top-ranked female American athlete who finished 5th at the Games. You saw her last at the Invitational. Put your hands together for Carrie Pierce. Carrie and Christy will be joined by 8 other athletes on the competition floor tonight. They were chosen at random when they signed up to get their open tickets. Now, Carrie and Christy, they cast quite the fitness shadow, but these brave souls are willing to stand in it for 17.2. Tonight with us, we've got Quinn Allen, Audrey Strani, Andrew Huffman, Carmen Hill, Hume Jameson, Natasha Lopez, Tyler Watson, and Brent Cohen. One big round of applause for all of our athletes who'll be throwing down tonight. 17.2 coming up.
Thank you, Kiki. 10 athletes on the floor, but the two we will be focused on, the two top American women at the CrossFit Games last year, two of the top three. Let's start with Carrie Pierce, finished 5th at the CrossFit Games last year in just her 2nd season. Was a gymnast at a place that people around here love to hate, the University of Michigan, but she is a well-rounded athlete.
In just 2 short years, Carrie Pierce has really broken out of that box, the gymnastics box we've tried to keep her in. She holds her own despite her size with any of the strength movements, and her engine is just tremendous. Taking 1st in Murph last year at the Games, and just that's something we're not used to seeing with the gymnast, so she has proven she is an overall CrossFit athlete.
A lot of people forget or may just not even know that Christy Aroe finished 8th at the CrossFit Games last year. What are you expecting to see from her?
As a rookie, again, we want to put her in a box and say she's an endurance athlete, but Christy Aroe proved last year that she is so much more than just triathlons and marathons.
Christy Aroe got onto the competitive scene in 2014 when she showed up at the Central East Regional, got herself to the Games last year for the first time and made the most of it. She finished in 8th place and has shown that she definitely has what it takes to be a force at the CrossFit Games for years to come. Christy Aroe was supposed to be just another rookie in Carson. That's why her 8th place finish at the CrossFit Games came as a surprise to everyone, except her.
She's sprinting up and down this. That was ridiculous.
What an impressive performance by the CrossFit Games rookie, Christy Aroe. Anytime a rookie gets into the top 10, pay attention because that athlete is going to have a lot more years here competing at the CrossFit Games.
Looking back at the experience, I realized when I just kind of do me and have fun and don't worry about the pressure or the expectation, that really is when I do my best. So it's just working out and having fun.
When you look at her background, Aroe's rookie season starts to make sense. She has completed 4 triathlons, run the Boston Marathon, and attended Louisville on a swimming scholarship. Her mother, Donna, is also a masters competitor.
My athletic background helped tremendously, especially when he announced a 7K trail run to start. It couldn't have been a better card dealt to me. So, and then followed up by an ocean swim. Everyone was super excited about this one because I've swam my entire life. So it just, kicked off the Games for me in a great fashion.
This year, Aroe will not be able to fly under the radar. Now, the spotlight is directly on her. It may not make a difference.
I have a bad habit of consistently underestimating myself. But I have put the work in and worked on my weaknesses this year, and I am confident in the numbers and the training that I've done and the direction the numbers continue to go.
Can Aroe do it again in 2017? Don't be surprised if the answer is yes. I don't think anybody is going to be underestimating Christy Aroe here this year. What can we expect to see from her in 2017?
Just 1 year at the Games gives you so much. First, it gives you so much confidence. Between the years, she can believe in herself. She can have that confidence with all the training now for 1 year with that belief that she belongs there with those other competitors. Also, it shows you and it reveals some weaknesses and exposes some things that you don't see in the typical gym every day. So some of the weaknesses I think she's going to hopefully have tackled is going to be some of the odd objects that she saw at the Games, some of the short sprint events that she didn't place as well at, and then continuing to improve her strengths and her strength and her gymnastics abilities, which she showed she's disciplined to do that, and I just expect to see a much stronger, well-rounded Aroe.
We will get our first really good look at both Carrie Pierce and Christy Aroe here in a little bit as they face 17.2. For now, let's send it back to the studio and Tommy Marquez and Pat Sherwood.
Thank you, Sean and Tanya. Pat, Christy Aroe may not be a household name just yet, but she certainly has some tools that can make her successful consistently at the Games.
I think one of the biggest advantages that she has, if you take a poll of Games athletes, they're all working on their swimming, they're all working on their running, right, because they avoided it for years. Well, Aroe has an endurance background, and she crushed the trail run at the Games. She took 3rd place. She was also a collegiate swimmer. She took 2nd place on the ocean swim, so she already has that in the bag. Admittedly, she needs to work on barbell cycling, but when I spoke with her, she said that has been a focus. So add that to what she's already capable of, And that's a heck of an athlete right there.
Some exciting potential. We have to apologize for some of the audio issues. We're currently working on that. Hope to get it fixed for you guys soon. But first, let's take a look at how things shook out on the women's side after week number 1. Top scorer, Sarah Armanius, an athlete out of Europe with a time of 9:46, edging out Samantha Briggs by just 1 second. And Pat, the rest of the worldwide leaderboard for the women just looks like a U2 concert. European women scattered all over the place. Was this just a good workout for them, or is this something we can expect the rest of the way?
To be determined if this was wheelhouse or not, but I actually didn't notice this trend. It was brought to my attention very sarcastically by one Samantha Briggs, love her to death, sent me a text and was like, yep, European women just crushing it like we always do. And I looked down the leaderboard, and sure enough, if you look at an amazing time on 17.1, 11 minutes and 30 seconds, the first 40 women in Europe scored that time or faster. But I was like, okay, just how good is that? So I compared it to Northeast, which is one of the most competitive regions, and you can only go down to the 8th women if you go into 11 minutes and 30 seconds. So they crushed week 1, no doubt.
That is certainly impressive. But if you have to look down at the rest of the leaderboard, who else stands out to you for the women?
Credit where it is due. Brooke Wells, you really impressed me. She took 6th place at the games, but I associate her just with heavy barbells, and I know that I'm wrong. This workout, a lot of burpee box jumps, light dumbbell, 11 minutes and 10 seconds. Brooke, color me impressed.
Well, I took a look at the leaderboard, and I kind of had to double check real quick because I saw Helen Harding, 33rd worldwide overall for the women. As a Masters athlete, you know, just an impressive score at 10:46, but that's kind of her MO. If you take a look at last year, first in the Open in her Masters division, went to regionals as an individual, took 11th at the Pacific, then Masters qualifier and the games. She swept both of those, so certainly well within her realm to be competitive on the worldwide scale. Week 2 is almost underway, but none of this would be possible without the wonderful people over at Rogue Fitness, owned and run by Bill and Katie Henniger. They're a company with humble beginnings, deeply rooted in the CrossFit community.
I found CrossFit in 2005, started doing CrossFit in my garage. I wanted to learn more about it, and so I went out to the original CrossFit Santa Cruz and took the 3-day seminar. Thought it would be a good idea to start an affiliate, and at the same time I was buying equipment from a bunch of different vendors around the country, and decided it would be a good idea to build an e-commerce site.
I was coming off my basketball playing career, and someone said, hey, you should try CrossFit, and started out at Rogue's Gym, and that's where I met Bill. And that kind of morphed into the equipment side of things. And when I started on that side of the business, there was only 3 people. So from 2008 to now, you know, with over 500 people, that's a crazy growth in such a short amount of time.
The growth, you didn't know when it was coming, you were just kind of rolling with the punches. It was like riding a bull. And I think, you know, with the CrossFit Games, the growth of the games and the growth of the community and the affiliates, at all times we're just always trying to figure out how to knock it out of the park and hoping that, you know, that's what makes people excited about our company.
And the CrossFit Games get another special challenge courtesy of Rogue.
Bill and I are both from Ohio, and we've been in Columbus, you know, a long time. And I think for us, just being a part of the city and being a part of this community where we can grow as everything grows here in downtown, I think that's very important for us.
It's our belief that those folks that work here, we're at close to 600 now, and they'll get a beer at a local pub or go purchase a new car or something like that, and then it creates an ecosystem where then those people that are working at those other companies are going to come back and maybe purchase something from us. We purchased 30 acres in the middle of Columbus, Ohio, not on the outskirts, just right in the middle, and we get to basically watch that model work. And we think that that is valuable to the economic system here in the United States. It also gives us a great deal of pride.
Rogue Fitness, just one of those companies, Pat, that does things the right way, and it starts with Bill and Katie.
I've been lucky enough, as you have as well, to know them from the very beginning. They epitomize that whole Coach Glassman markets reward excellence. Rogue's just been kicking butt from the beginning, and they deserve every ounce of their success. Incredibly hardworking people.
The announcement is just moments away, but let's refresh you guys on how you can watch and tune in at home. It starts with our main broadcast here. You can catch that at the CrossFit Games website, games.crossfit.com, CrossFit Games Facebook page, or the CrossFit YouTube channel. That's all the way through the Cooldown show. Then head on over to the CrossFit Games Facebook for some exclusive coverage of Roe versus Boz. But now it is time to to send things over to Columbus, Ohio and Rogue Fitness headquarters to Rory McKernan for the live announcement of 17.2.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. You're watching the live announcement of Open Workout 17.2 presented by Ramwad. Hey guys, I'm Rory McKernan and we are live in Columbus, Ohio. Yeah, normally we do these things at CrossFit affiliates, but tonight we're here to celebrate Rogue Fitness and christen their brand new 600,000 square foot HQ, right, that you see looming behind me. It's going to be a really special night. We're so glad you guys are here, and it all starts with the announcement of 17.2. You guys want to hear it? Ladies and gentlemen, for the announcement of the workout, I give you the director of the CrossFit Games, Dave Castro.
Where 17.1 had a dumbbell, 17.2 has dumbbells. 17.2 starts with 50-foot walking lunge. 25 feet down, turn around, 25 feet back with the dumbbells in the front rack position. 50 pounds for the men, 35 pounds for the women. Then you will do 16 toe to bar. After that, you will return to the dumbbells where you will do 8 dumbbell power cleans. You will do 2 rounds of that triplet, then 2 more rounds of that triplet. But for the second 2, instead of 16 toe to bar, you will do 16 bar muscle ups. 17.2 is 2 rounds, 50-foot walking lunge, 16 toe to bar, 8 dumbbell power cleans, then 2 rounds, 50-foot walking lunge, 16 bar muscle ups, then 8 power cleans. As many rounds and reps as possible in 12 minutes. Good luck.
Man, so many sad faces. The dumbbells are back. This time they've multiplied. So on round 1, we're doing toes to bar. On round 2, or on rounds 3 and 4 rather, we're doing bar muscle up. So seems simple at first clip, but I need you guys to pay attention. Seriously, be here with me. For 17.2 to count, it needs to look like this.
At the call of 3, 2, 1, go, the athlete takes the dumbbells from the ground, moves them into the front rack position, and begins the first round of walking lunges. At the 25-foot mark, they will turn around and return to the start line to complete the 50 feet. With the walking lunges complete, the athlete moves to the pull-up bar for 16 toes to bar. Then back to the dumbbells for 8 power cleans. The second round will be performed in exactly the same manner. In rounds 3 and 4, the same work will be performed, except the toes to bar will be replaced with bar muscle-ups. Rounds 5 and 6 will go back to toes to bars. The athlete will continue working in this manner, accumulating as many repetitions as possible in the 12-minute window. Note the time after each completed set of power cleans, as this will be used as a tiebreaker.
So for further clarification, I have with me the CrossFit Games director, Dave Castro. Dave, last week, 2 new movements. This week, 2 new more movements. What do you want people to really pay attention to with these dumbbell movements?
Well, the big thing is you need to read the descriptions and watch the videos and make sure you completely understand what you do before you start. But some things to remember on this with the lunges is we want the dumbbell over the center line so you can rest it on your shoulder. Your hand has to stay on the handle the whole time. You can also do this. Those are both fine. Another big thing, a change, is with these snatches. Last week, we required both parts of the head to touch the ground. This week, with the 2 dumbbell clean, we're just requiring one head of the dumbbell to touch the ground. But again, watch these tip videos, read the descriptions, see some of these other athletes do it, pay attention to the rules, and have fun with it.
Thanks, Dave. As Dave mentioned, you guys can go to the CrossFit Games website for the extended standards. What you saw here was just an abbreviated version for this broadcast. Now, guys, there's 390,000 of us participating in the Open this year. Tonight, you're going to see 8 regular folks from the Columbus area on the floor with 2 of the fittest women in the world. Some of them are masters athletes. Some of them will be doing the workout scaled. So really, you're going to see a perfect snapshot of the Worldwide Open. We're all in this thing together. But speaking for myself, I can tell you my workout is going to look nothing like Christy or Carrie's workout. So how will the rest of us approach 17.2? CrossFit's Director of Certifications, Nicole Carroll, is here to help us answer that question with these tips.
Hi everyone, Nicole Carroll back again with some tips for the Open, this time for 17.2. We see our friends, the dumbbells, 35s for women, 50s for men. Hope you guys aren't tired of them. And second time ever in the Open, bar muscle ups. Hey guys, just finished warming up, getting ready to do this one. Here's what I'm thinking about the lunges. I'm gonna try to keep them really steady, not rush them, so stepping through as much as I can and using them as a bit of an opportunity to breathe if that's possible. For the dumbbell power cleans, of course I would love to do all 8 and head straight into the lunges. I'm gonna see how this one hits me though, and one thing I am gonna make sure that I don't do is an extra dumbbell power clean. So if I have to, I will put it down on 6 or 7 or somewhere before 8 so that I don't have to do 9 just to get it on my shoulders and do the lunges. I know for myself, for bar muscle ups, it's definitely not something that I can rep out as quickly as toes to bar, so I'm gonna need more time in the rounds with the muscle ups. I'm gonna try to buy myself as much time as possible in the rounds with toe to bar by going quicker. However, I don't wanna go so quick that I put myself in a big deficit. Just finished this one up, and I got 14 bar muscle ups into the second set of bar muscle ups. So close, and it definitely leaves me chomping at the bit to try this one again. One of the things that really snuck up on me in this was how much I had to manage my grip, especially in the dumbbell power cleans. What I recommend is right out of the gate, use a real power clean with a quarter squat or half squat versus a muscle clean. This way you don't have to pull the dumbbell up quite so high. On the lunges, you're required to have a full grip on those dumbbell handles. The best way to contend with this is, first of all, don't death grip that handle. Try to let the dumbbells rest in your hands by bringing your elbows up nice and high and allow the rear heads of the dumbbells to sit squarely on your shoulders. For the bar muscle ups, I really recommend breaking them into smaller, more manageable sets. I'm pretty confident with bar muscle ups, but coming off those power cleans, my grip was smoked, and I did the first round in sets of 4, got back to the second round, tried to do sets of 4 and couldn't. If I were to do this one again, I would break them up into even smaller sets, maybe even 2s. So definitely important that you find what's manageable and don't go to failure there. If you don't have a bar muscle up, no worries. Just use all the remaining time in this workout to try to get one. The Open has an incredible power to get people there first in so many movements. Let that power carry you and just do your best to get one or as many as you can in the time remaining. And most importantly, remember to have fun and good luck.
Thanks always to Nicole. I am joined now by 2 Rogue Fitness athletes and really sweethearts of the CrossFit Games community, Margot Alvarez and Dan Bailey. Margot, you heard what Nicole had to say, but if you have an opportunity to talk to maybe some of these guys who are not CrossFit Games athletes, what advice will you give?
I would say, I mean, stick to what you know you can do as an individual. If you need to break up the toes to bar, even if you go sets of 2 and bar muscle-ups as singles, that's fine, but just know that you can continue to move through the reps is going to be the best advice for them.
And you work in the level 1 seminars, and you know how special it is to see someone's first muscle up. Hopefully we might be able to see one of those today.
Definitely, I hope to see that and hopefully coach them through it, so it'll be exciting.
Dan, what about the other side of things, the CrossFit Games athletes? How do you think these women will be attacking 17.2?
I think they're going to have to move pretty fast right out the gate. I mean, it's a 12-minute time cap, which is still decently long, but there's a lot of movements, there's a lot of moving parts, a lot of things you have to accomplish in those 12 minutes, so I think you're going to see them come out pretty hot and try to hold on.
Okay, this one's for both of you, I suppose, but where do you think people can get to? What's the limit on this one? Will we see people going through multiple rounds of bar muscle-ups?
I think so. I think maybe you're going to see 8+, maybe 10 total rounds if you're counting that way. Yeah.
What do you think, Margot?
I would agree the 8 rounds. I think it might be a sticking point around there, that's 7 to 8 rounds. If you can get past that, then I think that might be a big opener. So we'll see.
All right, thanks, guys. Don't go away too far. These two will be back for Roe versus Boz later in the broadcast. It's almost time, so we'll go to the booth in just a moment, but a reminder for those of you at home. Last week, if you looked at the CrossFit Facebook page, you got to see all of Dave in Paris. This week, we have another second screen experience on the CrossFit Facebook page. You can see all 10 lanes all the time. So if you don't want to miss a beat of the action, watch the director's cut here on the CrossFit Games Facebook page and go to CrossFit's Facebook page on your second screen to see all 10 lanes all the time. All right, guys, we're almost up to the action, so we're going to go to the booth where Sean Woodland and Tanya Wagner are hanging out with a very special guest.
Thank you, Roe, being joined by the 2-time fittest woman on earth, Catherine David's daughter. Thank you so much for being here. Every time I check social media, it seems like you're all over the place. What has life been like for you here the past couple months?
It's been great. I got to be home in Iceland for the whole of December. And then January, I was traveling a lot back and forth. And after that, I've been, from February and onwards, I've been in Boston, back training with Ben Bergeron. So back in, very focused, very dialed in, and training is going great.
All right, we know the workouts are really fast. You just heard it. What are your first impressions here?
So good. I love it. It's going to be spicy, huh?
I love that the dumbbell's back. Brought the dumbbell back, keep everybody on their toes 2 weeks in a row.
Let's talk keys to the workout here, Tanya. What are the 3 things you're going to be watching?
First of all, it's that bar muscle up. Depending on your abilities, you have to break them up and manage, how many you're going to go. Minimize the rest time on the bar muscle ups. Second, you have to watch the pacing and the tempo early on in the toes to bar rounds. It's going to be really tempting to go really fast, but you don't want to redline and get too far ahead of yourself. And when you go to the bar muscle ups, you don't have anything left there. Third, I'm going to watch my grip, because looking at that dumbbell, there is never a spot your hands are not gripping something. So I want to watch how the athletes are going to be lightening the grip when they're holding the dumbbell.
I want to thank Catherine for stopping by. We're going to have more from you later on from Roe versus Boz. You'll be on the floor with Tanya. We're set to get this thing going. I'm ready. They're ready. Let's get
athletes, 10 seconds. 3, 2, 1, go.
17.2 is underway right in the middle of the floor. That's Carrie Pierce. She'll be right next to the woman on the right. That's Christy Aroe, 2 of the top 3 American finishers at the CrossFit Games in 2016. We start with that 25-foot walking lunge down the floor. They'll cross that red line and return. The floor is divided up into 5-foot sections, and you have to cross each section in order to count for a rep.
Just looking at the start of this, they're looking nice and composed with that first set of lunges. My biggest concern for these ladies is going to be their shoulders and their grip and how taxing all of these movements combined are. There's really no place to rest. There's no place to shake it out. So it is going to come down to who has the best grip strength, who has the best pulling power in these 3 movements.
34 reps in each round. Christy Aroe currently through 20 of those. Carrie Pierce staying with her. Again, the other athletes who are on the floor are from the Columbus area. They were selected via lottery when they signed up for their open tickets to come out here and compete. So good on them for having the guts to get out here in front of this capacity crowd at the brand new Rogue Fitness facility in Columbus, Ohio.
Already in the first set of those toes to bar, Aroe chose to break them up. Carrie Pierce went all unbroken. So, Aroe, looking at this, it's going to come down to the bar muscle-ups is what I expect. So Aroe off to a smart start by breaking up the grip on the toes to bar early.
Aroe's on the right. On the left is Carrie Pierce. So far, pretty much neck and neck as they enter round 2 of that 50-foot walking lunge. 25 feet down, 25 feet back, 12 minutes here in 17.2.
12 minutes is not a lot of time, and where they're going to have to make up the speed is going to be, you know, when they get back to toes to bar. If they can get through the 2 rounds of bar muscle ups, which I expect them to do, it's going to be how fast then they move, and I expect we're going to see a lot faster pace then than we are now on those lunges.
16 toes to bar, and that'll close out round 2. Then the next time they get back to the pull-up bar will be 16 bar muscle ups.
Look at Christy Aroe. She kind of flashes her grip a little bit, keeps a little looser grip for the toes to bar than Carrie Pierce. She has a real tight grip on the bar. Makes a difference with your forearms, but Carrie did choose to break right there, which is smart.
And both done at the exact same time. And now to the power cleans before they close out their second round. Remember, 68 rounds will signify, or 68 reps, I should say, should signify 2 complete rounds.
These dumbbells at 35 pounds, it's not a ton of weight for the power clean. It's just more they're an odd object. It's not the barbell that they're typically used to. You can see their technique and their form isn't quite what you normally see with a clean, with straight arms pulling from the shoulder. They keep their arms bent, really more of a swing to get them up to their shoulders. That's smart to save some of their pulling from in their lats, which they're going to need when they go to these bar muscle ups.
Both athletes deciding to rest at the turn as they head back 25 more feet. And then it's 16 bar muscle ups, and this is where we expect to maybe see a little bit of separation between the two, depending on how they decide to break it up.
I'm expecting Carrie Pierce to hold on for a bigger set, but it's going to depend on how Aroe has worked on the offseason, how much better she is with her bigger sets of the higher skill movements like a bar muscle up.
Still neck and neck as we are in the 3rd round. 16 bar muscle ups.
And they both look really smooth, getting a nice big pull to get up and over. Pierce going with a bigger set, as expected, because I think will be able to maintain those bigger chunks. But Aroe, nice short rest time. Even though she took a small set, she was a nice short rest.
Aroe back off the bar on the right as Carrie Pierce continues to work away here and now has about a 3-rep lead over Christy Aroe, but now Aroe is back on the bar as Pierce is resting and going to the chalk.
And this is what I expected. I expected to see smaller sets from Aroe than Pierce. I didn't expect Pierce to break up as early. I'm wondering if that was part of her strategy or if she thought she'd be able to hold on to a few more reps than she is. But it looks like they're managing well. They are adapting to what they need to.
It's like both Pierce and Aroe going for sets of 2. Aroe rattled off 2 before she jumped off the bar, and now Pierce completed 3. So Pierce is still a couple of reps ahead of Aroe, but Aroe starting to cut into that. Now she's off the bar. 2 remaining for Carrie Pierce. Adrian Bosman, her judge, with 2 fingers in the air. Chuck Carswell is the judge for Christy Aroe, and she now has just a couple left as Carrie Pierce, first woman back to the dumbbells for 8 more power cleans.
Well, Aroe got a no rep on that last one, wasn't able to hold on. And I think what we're seeing here, me looking at this on paper, hearing it, I expected Carrie Pierce to even be a little bit less fatigued than she is now in this first round. So I think the dumbbells are causing a little more fatigue in the arms than what I first expected hearing this. And I think it's doing that for the ladies as well.
Carrie Pierce, first woman done with the 8 power cleans, and now she will start round 4. So again, a 12-minute AMRAP, 17.2. The only thing that changes is the movement on the pull-up bar. The first 2 rounds, 16 toes to bar. Then the next 2 rounds, 16 bar muscle ups. If you get through 4, then round 5, you go back to the toes to bar, and so on and so forth until you hit that 12-minute time cap.
The tough part is right here when they're doing the lunges, their grip is just, they're holding on. There's so much time under tension, and it's just makes your forearms and your arms feel like concrete. So going back to something that requires such a grip, it's so hard to hold onto the bar and get the pull you want.
Carrie Pierce now 16 bar muscle ups. Christy Aroe about ready to get back to the pull-up bar as well. Christy Aroe is the hometown favorite. Her gym is here in Columbus. She has about 80 friends and some family members who are here cheering her on. They're all wearing those light blue shirts. One at the top of the screen there, cheering on their girl. And of course, Carrie Pierce, if people realize where she went to college, is going to be public enemy #1 around these parts, a gymnast at the University of Michigan.
Pierce is taking these in 3s while Aroe is going in 2s. And they're both taking really nice short rests. But Carrie Pierce is just staying that couple reps ahead.
Carrie Pierce moved ahead in the last round. That was the first set of bar muscle ups. That was round 3, and she has kept that lead here in round 4 as we approach the 8-minute mark and 4 minutes remaining in 17.2.
What I love about this matchup is you have two ladies, both 27 years old, weigh about the same, 5'2", and we have the gymnast, Carrie Pierce, who gets a movement that she'd love to see, and we get to compare that with Aroe, who we get to see how well she's doing in a gymnastic movement that seems like Carrie Pierce should just be owning. That shows how well Christy Aroe is. But then we also have, you see how hard they're breathing. This is a very taxing workout, and it shows Carrie Pierce's abilities lung-wise and metabolically, how well she's conditioned. She's using a lot of her back. You can see with the dumbbells, it's more of a swing, more like a kettlebell swing, similar to what people were doing last week. They don't use it like a typical weight, pull it straight up. It's just more of a hinge at the waist. It's going to take a little more toll on the back. It's going to save her legs so she can use her legs here more for the lunges.
I'm sure everyone out there is looking forward to abusing their backs again for a second straight week as Carrie Pierce has begun round 5. So the next time she gets back to the pull-up bar, she will do toes to bar. So she will be able to get reps more quickly here in round number 5 as we now have less than 3 minutes to go in 17.2. And Carrie Pierce has opened up a significant lead on Christy Aroe as Aroe is still working through her 4th set of 8 power cleans and now has those dumbbells shouldered and will start on her 25-foot journey down to the other end of the floor as Carrie Pierce returns for 16 toes to bars. This is round 5 for her.
And these are the rounds, this one and the next, that I expect to see that pace pushed a little bit more to give herself enough time to get as many bar muscle-ups in as she can at the end. But again, she's using the same muscles. Different movement, but it's the same muscles. Her grip, her lats. It's still pulling just like she did in bar muscle-ups, just like she did with the dumbbells for the cleans.
Christy Aroe on her return trip back to the pull-up bar where she will get to work on a set of 16 toes to bar. Less than 2 minutes to go here before we hit the 12-minute time cap. Pierce with 1 to go. And now 8 power cleans, 90 seconds to go. And meanwhile, we have one of the athletes just got her first bar muscle up. Margot Alvarez is in the black tank top and jeans. She was there coaching her through it, and that makes some great moments here in the open. You see a lot of that. So a lot of people here trying to get their first bar muscle up. Good on them. Carrie Pierce is back on the dumbbells and lunging down the floor, just trying to get as many reps as possible. Every gray line she crosses, and then that final red line all count as 1 rep.
The set down here is huge, Sean. To put the dumbbells down, turn around, get the breather is huge for the grip. Very smart. It allows her to be able to keep those bigger sets on the rig.
45 seconds to go. Christy Aroe is still on her toes to bar. Carrie Pierce is going to take 17.2. Aroe just trying to get as many reps in now before we hit the time cap, as we have about 30 seconds now to go. Aroe back on the dumbbells, and now Carrie Pierce. See how long she hangs on here.
Aroe is just pushing with everything she has. Carrie Pierce lightening that grip, just kind of hopping off the bar so she can get somewhat of a grip. Her forearms look smoked.
6 seconds now, 5, and Aroe is just trying to cross as many lines as she can. Carrie Pierce on the right of your screen is cranking away on the toes to bar. It's going to be Carrie Pierce who takes 17.2 over Christy Aroe. 192 reps. Aroe 19 behind her. And again, once we got to the bar muscle ups, that was where Carrie Pierce was able to make her move, and she's thanking the crowd for their support. The 5th fittest woman on earth, impressive here in 17.2 at Rogue Fitness in Columbus, Ohio. Christy Aroe, though she doesn't get the win, certainly impressive for her.
Very impressive performance. You know, Carrie Pierce holding her forearms, saying there's smoke, just how bad that is. That's a little scary for the rest of us. It also shows just how well Christy Aroe did. It was a fun matchup.
Carrie Pierce continuing to thank the crowd. Let's take a look at the replay brought to you by 511 Tactical. You talked about those bar muscle ups and how they're going to break them up, and then the toll that the dumbbells are going to take as well.
Early on, the girls with the lunges, they were neck and neck. They were side by side from the start, but really it did come down to the movements on the rig, the toes to bar, the bar muscle ups. Carrie Pierce here holding on for a little bigger set. She went unbroken on the first round, while Aroe chose to break up. It's based on their abilities, and they did play to their abilities very well, but Carrie Pierce was always able to hold on for a few extra reps. So the way she partitioned it was perfect for her ability. She maintained it at the end and was still able to do so, made some adjustments, but that's what got her the win.
Carrie Pierce, final couple reps before she hops off the pull-up bar and gasping for air, but still able to stay upright, so good on her. Official results, Carrie Pierce with 192 reps, Christy Aroe with 172, and Rory McKernan is standing by with Carrie Pierce.
Carrie, you moved so quick to get back on the bar. We didn't see that you had broken up your first round of toes to bar. What was your strategy?
My strategy on the first round was just to break up the toes to bar. I knew it was going to be a grip heavy workout, and I actually got on my phone real quick because my coach, I was like, if you can send me some little notes, let me know. So he said to break it up from the beginning, which definitely paid off because it was a very grip intensive workout.
Anything about the pace that you would change doing if you were to do it again?
No, I don't think so, because I broke up the bar muscle ups as well, starting with 4s. I might actually switch that to 3s, just because, like I said, my grip. And on the first round of the power cleans to the lunges, I did 8 and then set the dumbbells down. And right when I set them down, I was like, you should have broke it up at 7, and then went from there. So that I would have changed.
So you're saying you would have gone 7, then picked it up and started your lunges. Okay, so fantastic finish, 2 years in the games. You've now done the Invitational, but this is your first open announcement. How did this experience measure up?
Oh, this experience was just completely different. I mean, at the games you go into the unknown, but you have a little bit of time. You actually can warm up the movements and stuff. Here it was kind of like just doing a little bit of everything in the back, lifting some heavy barbell, doing some gymnastic stuff, just trying to make sure everything's warm, so whatever he says, you're ready to go from the get-go.
All right, a fantastic finish in your second year at the CrossFit Games. How are you going to improve on that in 2017?
I've just been focusing on getting stronger, especially in my cleans. The clean ladder was my worst event, so that's one thing we've really been working on through the off season and coming into this year. So I feel good with that.
Congratulations, ladies and gentlemen, Carrie Pierce. All right, so these athletes are done, but that was actually just the first heat. Please don't go away. There's lots more to come. Right now, I want to give a special thanks to our sponsors for 17.2, ROMWAD. If you guys haven't tried them out, here's an awesome offer that they're offering to anybody who's watching this broadcast. You can try an entire week of ROMWAD completely free. Check out romwad.com/InTheOpen. See what it means to get all swole and flexy, what all the hype is about. Fantastic offer from ROMWAD. Thanks to those guys. All right, coming up, you guys know that we've got the second installment of Roe versus Boz in 2017, brought to you by FitAid. That's exclusive to the CrossFit Games Facebook page. So if that's not where you're watching right now, make a plan to get there for Roe versus Boz later. But right now, we're going to start off the Cooldown show. Dave Castro and both athletes will sit down here in Columbus in just a few moments. But the whole thing's going to start off back in Santa Cruz at CrossFit HQ with Tommy Marquez and Pat Sherwood. So don't go away. The Cooldown show kicks off in just a few.
Welcome back inside the studio, everyone, for the Cooldown show presented by Arasti. And Pat, I mean, it is quite the workout, a lot of moving parts, but it really seemed like maybe the bar muscle-ups in those third and fourth rounds were really the crux of the workout.
I agree with that. And think about this. First of all, Dave Castro is one of the sneakiest human beings on the face of the earth. We now know 2 out of 5 workouts, 40% of the workouts, still no barbell in sight. So this is a very interesting open in 2017.
And we saw 2 very talented women take the floor to tackle this workout first. And from the get-go, very similar strategies, if you will, breaking them up, but breaking them up at different points very early on in this workout.
If these 2 women are breaking up the bar muscle-ups and the toes to bar that soon, the rest of us should 100% take heed. And I think this is such a sneaky workout because you can just get wrapped around the axle and the bar muscle-ups. But if Carrie Pierce is breaking up a set of 8 power cleans into 3 different sets to get to 8 reps, this workout must compile into a lot more pain than we're just kind of figuring out right now.
And Carrie built a lead after that first set of bar muscle-ups and then carried it on through the rest of the workout. Special shout out to the person working out alongside of him. You heard the roar of the crowd. They got their first bar muscle-up there with Margot Alvarez. Certainly a great atmosphere to get that. Let's take a look now at the standings from week number 1 over on the men's side coming into week number 2. At the top, we've got Nikolai Dudus, a relative newcomer, or unknown actually, with a score of 941. That is blazing. And then you got a handful of surprises, you know, a ton of new people on the board, but Ben Gerard coming back to competition with a 10:02. And then who else really stood out to you, Pat?
I have to, of course, first say Nicholas Dudus, so impressive for sure, but I'm going to go with Nick Palladino. This is a 2-time champion from the teenage division, the 16 and 17-year-old division, both in 2015 and 2015. Now he's a man. He's 18 years old, and he's one of the first kids that we're seeing transition from the teen competition to individual. And this is our first chance to see, okay, you were a champion in the teenage division. What does that mean when you go now against the big boys? And with week 1 throwing this down as fast as he did, I mean, he's kind of setting the bar that teenage champions are to be taken seriously.
Certainly flexing some raw capacity. But now when we kind of take a look at this workout in particular, who are some men maybe on that side of the house that you think could do really, really well in this workout?
Well, now knowing the workout, I'm going to go with the pride of Canada, Patrick Vellner. Already a well-rounded beast, already an amazing competitor, making it onto the podium in his very first year, taking 3rd place. But you know, we said the toes to bar, the bar muscle-ups, kind of the crux of this. This is a guy who is a former national-level gymnast. You put that man with his already raw capacity into 17.2. He crushed week number 1, and I think Vellner's having an incredible season so far.
Patrick Vellner had a great season last year, and he's one of the guys that is featured in our new feature-length documentary. If you're like me, you can't get enough CrossFit Games action, well, you guys are in for a treat. I got to see a special pre-screening of this movie. It is fantastic, but don't just take my word for it. Check out the official trailer here right now.
I love the pain and I love the suffering.
To the bar! Back to the bar!
There are a lot of very fit, very strong girls out there.
I feel like I have a shot to win any time that I go to the games.
You can't underestimate anyone. I think about it every single day.
They're there to win, so I look at it like they're trying to take it from me.
This is about crushing the people next to you, and this is about trying to win the CrossFit Games. If you're not coming for that reason, you should just quit now.
Being a CrossFit Games athlete is basically a mental illness.
You don't know how good you have to be just to suck at the CrossFit Games.
Champions don't have balance, and the reason that they're exceptional at what they do is because they focus all their time and energy on it.
Prep your bags for a flight.
Where are we going? When are we coming back?
Constantly have that fear of like someone chasing you, just feel it on the back of your neck.
I had you!
I want to win this workout. I want to be a dominant performance.
What a fight by Josh Bridges!
You have to completely commit to changing your life.
You got to be good at everything, and you don't know if we're going to go to the mountains, you don't know if you're going to the beach. Truly, who's the world's fittest athlete?
That is your sole existence and goal. And even then, you're probably not going to make it.
started last year, and this war is going to carry over into Sunday.
I like seeing the athletes suffer.
I want to crush all of them.
What can this guy do?
Every single person in here is screaming.
These two heavyweights are trading some big punches here.
This is the workout where you can't look around.
Set yourself on fire. The pace is go.
And this one goes to Catherine Davidson.
Come on, Tia, you gotta go.
Tia Toomey answers back.
Felt like this championship prize fight.
What I am right now is enough to win the CrossFit Games.
Goosebumps again.
Showings for the Fittest on Earth, a decade of fitness, start March 13th. You can check the URL here on your screen to go find a screening near you, but it's important to note that none of these screenings are confirmed until a certain number of tickets are sold. So go out, get your tickets ASAP to make sure that these screenings take place. We'll have some special stuff for you. Katrin will be at the Boston screening. Fraser will be at the Burlington screening. Ben Smith will be at the Virginia Beach screening. But for now, let's head back out to Columbus, Ohio for Rory McKernan interviewing the athletes in the Cooldown.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Columbus and Rogue Fitness HQ. This is the Cooldown Show. I'm joined by Dave, Carrie Pierce, Christy, you told me how to say it, Aroe. And we actually have the gentlemen who are going to be competing next week, reigning fittest man on earth, Matt Fraser. Cole Sager's also joining us. Those guys are throwing down next week in San Antonio, so we'll get to that in just a moment. Christy, we're going to start with you because we got to hear what Carrie said, but I'm sitting here and you said, just feel my forearms. The pump is real.
I've been climbing rocks, and it was like, oh God, on the second bar, or the first set of bar muscle-ups, I felt like I couldn't even grip the bar. Yeah, it was a great challenge. I did not expect 2 dumbbells.
I know you said that you like the CrossFit Games because of the lack of, advanced warning and what you're going to do. How did it play out for you here?
Same thing. It's like, okay, you're picking up a dumbbell, you're holding onto a bar, you're holding a dumbbell. Okay, obviously my forearms are going to blow up, break it up earlier than you think. So it's trying to evaluate all the movements he put together, and then, okay, 12 minutes, not super long, not short, try to pace it, but move fast. Definitely had the right idea. Don't think I executed it exactly how I would have liked to.
Okay, so actually this will be for both of you, but I'll start here. Last week you said the same thing. You learned so much your first time with 17-1, redid it. So what did you learn in this, and will you redo it?
Yeah, I think I learned definitely your forearms are going to blow up, I think, no matter who you are. So you're holding on to something the whole time. So I felt like I broke it up super easy, but maybe the adrenaline in this atmosphere is so much fun. I felt like I was cruising, but I blew up way earlier than I thought. So definitely trying again, and probably, I hate to say it, I'd like to be one and done, but probably trying a different strategy next time.
This is a different atmosphere, right? So,
yeah.
So Carrie, what about you? Will you redo?
Yeah, I probably will. That workout was a lot of fun. It wasn't quite as bad as last week, so I really wouldn't mind doing it again. It was a good mix of all of the elements, and as Christy was saying, just break up from the beginning more than you think you should. And on the lunges near the end, I let the dumbbells rest on my shoulders a little bit more just to relieve my grip. So I'll definitely have to give that a try. And like I said, break up the power cleans, do 7, and then on the last one, don't make stupid mistakes holding on to it and then setting them down, doing an extra rep.
Okay, Dave, we missed you last week. I'm still missing you. So you guys broke up super early. We're going to go back to the girls real quick. You broke up earlier than I would have expected. So for someone at home, I know that, do you coach in an affiliate?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so both you guys are coaches. How would you recommend this for, let's just say, the normal person? Breaking up wise.
16 toes bar, I would say pick something you think you're comfortable with and then knock off several reps from there. So like I felt 10, I can do bigger sets of that all day long, and 10 and 6 for me ended up just going out the window. Like I was just trying to hang on to the bar. So pick something you think you're comfortable with, and then I would have them even shave off a couple reps. You never want to feel like that lactic acid starting to build up in those forearms.
Okay, it's going to happen either way, right?
Yeah, till the end.
Right, but so what would you recommend, Carrie?
Yeah, I would say the same thing, like probably 30% of your max unbroken reps would be a good place to start. And also in the dumbbell lunges, we held on to them for down and back, where I would recommend, the average CrossFitter to set them down, wait a few seconds, rest more in the beginning than you think you need to, and just move fast on the lunges so you're not holding extra time under tension.
All right, Dave, sorry, you got something more?
I was going to say from the power cleans to the lunge, maybe someone went like a DT if it was heavy, like 7, drop, shake, pick it up, go.
Okay. But with very little rest, right?
Very little rest.
Okay. So, Dave, we missed you last week. What do you think being back in this atmosphere? First of all, shout out to Rogue. Isn't this facility cool?
Yeah, this facility, this whole vibe, everything about it's been great. I'm really happy to be back with the crew. And again, say thanks to Bill and Katie for hosting us in this brand new facility. It's been awesome to give that back to them. I remember, 2008, Bill walking up to me at a seminar and saying, "Hey, Dave, I'm starting a company called Rogue Fitness." As I was walking out to my car to go to the airport, I'm like, "Cool, buddy." And he goes, "No, here's a jump rope." And he handed me a jump rope. And that was kind of the start of it. And here we are, in a 600,000 square foot facility. And, we've come here together. Yeah. And it's been neat to watch.
So I'm going to bring in the other gentlemen, Cole and Matt. Well, first of all, sitting in the seats that you guys were in, is it weird to spectate CrossFit as CrossFit Games athletes?
I kind of enjoy it. It's nice, change your pace. Go to an event and kind of just be a person in the crowd and cheer for your friends. It's kind of nice.
Cole, do you learn stuff? Like, would you take away things that you watched the ladies do tonight in the competition?
Oh, absolutely. I think that watching all the other games athletes, they always have something valuable to kind of showcase, and getting to see that is great. And I always will take it away the next day and kind of keep in mind of what they did and take that and apply it to my workout.
All right, so 2 weeks in a row, and actually anybody can speak to this, but we've seen dumbbells twice now, Dave, and I'm guessing that these guys might be, not getting ahead of ourselves. We still have 17-2 to do, but you might be guessing what you guys are up against next week. Do you have anything in mind that you think you might be pitted against one another with?
I've stopped playing that guessing game about 3 years ago, so I'm just, whatever it is, that's what it is.
What do you think, Dave? What are we going to juggle dumbbells next week? There's the only thing you can do from 2 is go to 3, right?
My best advice is take it 1 week at a time. Let's focus right now on this week and then worry about that in week 3.
You can't get in Dave Castro's mind. You can't do it. I've tried it for years. It doesn't work.
All right, be honest though. None of you guys are like watching his Instagram and saying like, "What's the koi fish thing all about?"
What's the point?
Is the koi fish a koi fish, or is it more than a koi fish? What's the koi fish all about?
That's for you to figure out. That's for you to interpret. I'm not. I see it. I see the clues obvious to me, but everyone has to find the clue for themselves.
Koi fish known for their lunging abilities, lunging at human beings. One thing that you guys will be doing next week is hanging out with the firefighters there from the San Antonio Fire Department. That seems like a pretty cool thing. If you guys have any thoughts on that.
I have a lot of respect for anybody in our country that serves in any way, firefighters, policemen, military. So I just have a lot of respect for that. It's something that I really am looking forward to, just because people that I look up to and I very much appreciate.
Yeah, that's the first I was hearing that we're hanging out with some firefighters, but yeah, looking forward to whoever's around, get to throw down, get some good work in, and hopefully get to meet some cool people.
Yeah, we'll be hanging out with San Francisco Fire Department at Alamo CrossFit. It's going to be really, really cool. So guys, hey, everybody, let's give it up one more time for Rogue Fitness, both of the women who threw down tonight and all the competitors who took the floor. Thanks to Dave. Thanks again to Cole Sager and Matt Fraser for being here. We'll be with them again next week in San Antonio at Alamo CrossFit. You're not going to want to miss that. Please tune in next week. Enjoy 17.2. I'll see you then. And until then, I'll see you on the leaderboard.
Certainly some useful insight from Carrie and Christy there. Good to see Matt and Cole joining in on the interview. And, of course, Dave Castro not budging in classic fashion. Can't get anything out of him, even when he's already given you a hint. But, Pat, we have another open announcement in the books. Looking at 17.2 and what just went down, what are your overall takeaways?
Nasty. Again, a second dumbbell workout. I don't know where this open is going. 3 workouts left. But for 17.2, I mean, look at what those 2 incredible women had to do. So my advice is break early and break often. Try to be a hero in that first round or 2. I think it's going to catch up with you incredibly quick. There's no break for your grip anywhere, so maybe even break up that first set of 8 reps of dumbbell power cleans, even if you feel good, because, man, it's going to accumulate fast.
Well, we've got to see 2 top athletes take on that workout, but now it's time to see a couple of average Joes hit that workout. Rowe versus Boz, round number 2. But last week, round number 1 went to Adrian Bosman. And right away, when they announced the couplet of dumbbell snatches and some burpee box jump overs, Pat, you got to admit that this one kind of favored Adrian a little bit.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, just you're north of 200 pounds. You've got 75 burpee box jumps. It's not really what Rowe wants to see. But I also think, okay, Rowe lost, but I don't think he had to lose by the margin that he did. I think he just built it up too much in his head. He put too much pressure on himself, and he went out a bit too quick, and he paid for that pace.
Boz walked away with the victory in 17.1 with a time of 18:25. Oh, big man Rowe wasn't able to finish under the time cap, finished with a score of 220 reps, but now we know 17.2, what they're going to be tackling in just a moment. Pat, who you got week 2?
I wanted it to be something that I could give this compelling reason as to why Rory McKernan was going to make an epic comeback, but the toes to bar, they favor Bosman. I think they're both pretty equal on the dumbbell, and then if they get to the bar muscle up, once again, I just don't think that caters to Rory's strength, so I think it's an uphill battle, and I think Bosman will be standing at the top of that hill this week.
Rowe did do pretty well last year in the bar muscle-up workout.
That's
and
very
the grip
true.
workout.
It's very true.
You know, I'm going to be picking, with my heart.
Good
and
for
not
you.
my
Okay.
head.
He needs the support.
And I'm going to be going with Rory once again. But coming up, that does it for us here. Coming up in just a few moments, we've got Rowe versus Boz on Facebook Live. That's exclusive coverage over at the CrossFit Games Facebook page. Be sure to tune in next week. We'll be coming to you guys live from San Antonio, Texas. The 17.3 live announcement featuring Matt Fraser, the men's champ, Cole Sager, and Scott Panchik.
Next week, the Open heads to the Alamo City. 3 of the best in the world will make their stand against Dave Castro's latest test. Cole Sager, Scott Panchik, and defending fittest man on earth, Matt Fraser, battle it out in 17.3. San Antonio hosts a Texas-sized showdown next Thursday at 5 p.m. Pacific on games.crossfit.com.